Oh. Oh. In our common conversations, we say that we study Bhagavad Gita, the verb being study. Bhagavad Gita is a subjective science. This science relates directly to you, in which case the studying should be leading to the living, that we are living Bhagavad Gita. I studied economics, you studied history. I don't live economics, you probably don't live history. It is important to note this difference. That way, we personalize. The last verse, really, from chapter 6, is the Sankalpa Vakya. Bhagavad Gita was taught, we'll call it in one round, from verse 1 to verse 700. And Prince Arjuna, being an amazing listener, he was able to absorb that. This will become more clear in chapter 18. For us, we're not like Prince Arjuna yet. Whenever I describe people being great, like Prince Arjuna, Devi Sita, there should be a comma, yet. We are not them yet. Since I am not like Prince Arjuna yet, our rishis, our teachers, sociologists, they have as if divided Bhagavad Gita into sections, into chapters, and to help delineate this, a Sankalpa Vakya is included. This is not intrinsic to the 700 verses. This is almost like a flow of thought is now complete and a new flow of thought is about to start. But what is consistent in each of these Sankalpa Vakyas, Om Tat Sat. That chapter, those verses, the teachings are Om. I did share with all of you that Om is the infinite expressed as sound, a sound symbol. The teachings of Bhagavad Gita, that is the same. They're sound symbols of the infinite. If you listen carefully and follow that sound symbol, you will feel infinite. Tat Sat, what was taught, what is going to be taught, is the truth. It is Tat. Tat means divine. Tvam means Vivek, Priya, Nip, etc. Our nature is divine, but we're not feeling that, so it changes. Think about how much medicine changes. Which do you follow? But the content The essence of Bhagavad Gita is changeless. Anthropologists share that the Mahabharata is around 2,500 years old. So this relatively new scripture is older than almost all religions. And I'm sharing anthropologists share this because those who practice Bhagavad Gita, Sanatana Dharma, know that you can't measure this by time. But fine, we'll smile and nod. So 2,500 years ago, present, 2,500 years from now, this essence is not going to change. The infinite, the divine, and Sat, this is what we are to feel. From experiences, from equipments, from ego to existence. Technically, Om Tat Sat are all synonyms. They're all synonyms. I'm only sharing with all of you. The content is symbolized by Om. This content is Tat, which means it's changeless. That's why investing in this is most practical, but you have to feel this as your existence. It is subjective. Your questions? Our first question. Hari Om, dear Vivekji. And you can read this, right? I'm not adding descriptions to my name. Hari Om, great Vivekji. This is documented in the chat, okay? Can Vivekji guide us on how to evolve from following dharma to sat dharma to bhagavata dharma? Gratitude. That is a lovely question, which I like very much. Dharma means that which integrates. For us, what integrates us? Our responsibilities. So dharma is a verb and a noun. The way we explored this in Meaningful Mornings, in the earlier part of Bhagavad Gita, right actions, that's your entry point. This will evolve to right attitudes. When you do that which is right, you naturally develop the right attitude. Our kids are on holiday. So yesterday we took them to an awesome dairy bar. It's this local ice cream shop. And I was driving and there was an extremely impatient driver behind me. And we have 2 children. It says baby on board. I'm never going to take that down. I find people drive better when you have that baby on board. Sticker on the back. So even when I'm 75, I'm still a baby. And so they passed me in an area we are not supposed to pass. And I was just reflecting on what my options are here. Preya, play the game, slow down more, kind of drive in the middle so they can't pass either way. But if I did that, even though that car still would have passed me and taken off, where would they be living? In here. While I'm eating that ice cream, I should have done this. I could have been more aggressive. But that simple right action of let them go helped me to have the right attitude of let them go. That's not enough though. Dharma is to evolve to sat dharma. When you bring these words together, it's sat dharma. It involves 4 refinements. One has to be more intense in these 4 specific ways. In order, Smarana, in English, remembrance. Number 2, dana. In English, generosity. Number 3, Pratignya, which is so important. In English, commitment. There's many meanings. We'll stick with commitment. Number 4, Raksha. In English, support. Today, I'm just going to answer Sat Dharma. Tomorrow, I'll take a Bhagavata Dharma. How can we practice these 4? Remembrance. The more you remember Sri Krishna, the more you remember your original parent, naturally that will help you become more humble. Agreed? Who's the doer? Me or my original parent? The second, generosity. And so I'm clear about remembrance. Japa. Please, I'm begging you to make japa or meaningful repetition a part of your sadhana, a part of your lifestyle. This is the yoga sadhana, which means in this period of time, this discipline is most effective. And for us not to do that is canceling what our rishis know. The person who asked the question is a psychiatrist. It's like me going to her and saying, I know more than you, when I have no training in this. Our rishis are trained in this, yes? Dana or generosity. I had shared in our Vedanta and Bhagavata class yesterday. For one to give so regularly. Remember Sri Krishna, he gave every day before he began his responsibilities, dana, then dharma. For us, our dharma or responsibilities give us so much compensation. Still, we are so tight with dana. And that's why we don't feel Sri Krishna, because we feel there's a better way to live. This is the creator who's living like this. Who are we to cancel that? Give so regularly that you start to feel, what are you giving? It was never yours in the first place. And that is to deepen to who is giving. If it's not mine to give, then I can't feel I'm the giver, correct? Saddharma again is to nurture humility. Number 3, pratignya. Pratignya technically means promise, technically. The idea being is commit. Commit to meaningful mornings like you do. Commit to teaching children like you do. Commit to running 21 kilometers like you do. Whatever you commit to, then you have to follow through though. The follow through is what is emphasized. We tell kids, right? When you make a promise, you can't break that. The first promise is made in your intellect. When an intellect decides, I am going to wake up at 6 a.m., or an intellect decides that I'm going to be more patient. And then the mind doesn't follow through with that, that's a broken promise. We tend to externalize that, right? I said this, you can validate this, here's my alibi. But it's in one's own system that this pratignya purti has to happen. How this nurtures humility is the mind becomes quieter. The noisier you are, you're allowing the ego to dominate you. The quieter you are, that means you're more inward looking, correct? You're dominating the ego. And the specific example of this is such a lovely question. You're asking me so many more, I know. when Raja Bali commits to 3 steps of land. The first step that Sri Vamana took was everything Raja Bali had accomplished in the past. The second step, everything Raja Bali is going to accomplish in the future. And the third step, the third step was the one who's trying to accomplish. The doer. That was the third step. See how much humility is nurtured. We always think, I did this, I'm going to do this. Humility. And number 4, Raksha. Raksha means to protect. Technically, it is to support. Specifically, we are to follow dharma, facilitate dharma, and number 3 is felicitate dharma. Following dharma, fine, I do that. But it's your responsibility, if you want Sat Dharma, to facilitate it too. In your corporations, in your organizations, in your home, this has to be facilitated. That culture is to be created. Just think of someone like Puja Swami Chinmayananda. He was following Dharma, but hasn't he facilitated it also? Discourse series, Holy Gita, and so on. And the third is to felicitate it, which means to support it, celebrate it, uplift it, donate to it, etc. Felicitate it. Tonight we start parenting culture at 9 p.m. And I'm introducing parenting culture. And one of the main points I'm going to share is parents are to instill in children assuredness. Assuredness is, I may not be able to do this right now, but I'm going to try and I will be able to do this. What I find with myself and some other parents is a lack of vision and a lack of patience, where instead of assuring the child that they can do it, the parent just does it for them. And then that compromises that sense of self-assuredness. So they become very context-based. If the context is smooth, all is smooth. If the context is not smooth, they're devastated then. And for anyone who has more experience in life, the context is never smooth. Sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's financial, sometimes it's political. It's never smooth. Felicitate. This is how we go from just right actions with right attitude to all that we're doing is nurturing humility. How much more you have to give to facilitate and to felicitate that that person's a better seeker than you. That person's a greater bhakta than you. Nobody wants to admit that. But a real seeker and a real bhakta, if they find someone better or greater than them, they're inspired by that. Humility. Tomorrow I will take up Bhagavad Dharma, and the questions that were asked, you please copy them and paste them again tomorrow. Okay? We were doing 1 verse a day, now we're doing 1 question a day. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh. Be. Be that which allows you to be. Being the body does not allow you to be, for the body moves. Being the ego does not allow you to be, because the ego exerts. Just be. If you observe that being is difficult, encourage being by remembering, by feeling, aham, Brahma, asmi. Aham, Brahma, asmi. Aham, Brahmasmi. I, the sense of I, Brahma, infinity, that which has no exclusivity, asmi, am, a oneness. I, infinite, am. I am infinite. I am infinite. I am infinite. And let this become natural from a remembrance, from a feeling to being. Be infinite, because that's what you are. That's what I is. Be. Shanti. Shanti. Shanti.